let's see. So, yesterday was Sunday, April 6th. I had to look at the calendar. And it was an okay Sunday. Had a pretty good set going on. Had crowds starting to bounce back from spring break. Had a lot of work to do in setup. But it was an okay Sunday, so let's dive into it. Let's talk about the first set. First, setup took absolutely ages yesterday. Some of the roads around where we meet were closed for a bike race, and so that kind of threw a few people off. People were late, a couple of people were missing, so setup was just a chore the whole time. So we ended up being really late getting started. We normally pray and then get sound check going around about 9 AM, 9:05. We didn't get started till 9:30. And then on top of that, I had somehow left my capo at home, and so we had to do some song changes because I didn't have the capo, couldn't do them in the right key. So we were going to do "Oh Praise Him" and "Everlasting God." We ended up substituting in "Your Grace Is Enough" and "Because of Your Love," and then we closed out the first set with "As Long as I Have You" by Mark Roach, which we've not done in a while. And it was a pretty good set. You know, my mind and I guess my heart as well were somewhat distracted by the frustrations of lateness and just stuff like that. You know, and so I know the onus is really upon me to deal with that before we start. But it was just kind of tough trying to work through that. I completely messed up the beginning of "As Long as I Have You." I heard Joel hit the click track, thought that he had set it to the right tempo. And started the opening riff, and I guess it wasn't the right tempo because then the click changed again and Joel came in and he was actually playing like faster than I was, so it took us a little while to get that all figured out. But I think within kind of like 12 bars, 16 bars, we were finally all on the same page again. So the response wasn't great. I mean, there was kind of a low energy yesterday morning, I think partly because of the weather. There didn't seem to be this huge response. So, but I mean, as far as how we did with the team, and as far as we went with leading worship, I think the team did great. I think the band sounded excellent. The mix was great. Joe tried a new thing with his guitars where he had like a very minor delay going on, stereo delay left and right just to broaden the sound, and it sounded awesome. So first set was okay. Scott started a new two-part series yesterday, and the first part was on generosity, and it was a really challenging message on why we're called as believers to be generous, not just to the church but to others as well. So we came out of that message, we did "Better Is One Day," which was super tight. Like I love the riff that Joe came up with to open that, and then how the song really builds into just kind of a real hard, very edgy song. And Joe's guitar solo just was face melting. It was just incredible. So we did that, and then we came out of "Better Is One Day," and we ended the second set with what's it called? "Blessed Be Your Name." Which we have a very much like a "With or Without You" vibe on that song. We start it very soft, very mellow, and we build it up so that we actually started off almost halftime, and then we ended up like just full-on rock song at the end. And it was that during that song was the biggest kind of congregational corporate response that we had all day. So I mean, I thought it was great in that song. Second set was excellent, much better than the first. I still feel like I still feel like the cheerful game show host, right? I still feel like we're trying to push against this wall that is about to collapse, but we're just not quite there yet. So I'm speaking in a few weeks' time, and really my message that I'm bringing is really going to be about our worship response. And so I'm really looking forward to delivering that and seeing how the congregation respond. But I feel like we're making good progress, good momentum, and it was evident in the second set yesterday. Well, I'm going on vacation this week. Got a couple of things happening. I'm off in just a couple hours, in fact just about an hour's time, to go and record April's podcast with Christian, and we have John Thomas from Soul Survivor on the podcast this month as well. So download it, listen to it when it gets posted. And then in a couple of days, I'm getting on a plane going to England for a few days. So won't be any worship confessional from me next week, at least not this worship confessional. If I end up going back to my old church where I grew up, then I'll maybe do like a little church visit confessional. We'll see. But otherwise, you guys have a great week. Look out for another confessional in a couple of weeks' time. And I will see you all then. Thanks. Bye.